In this video, I want to talk about some of the research basics that will help you out when you start doing your research for your English 2 papers. So first of all, I want to talk about the topic for your paper. And what you want to do is you want to get approval of your topic from your professor. This is very important because your professor created the assignment and they're going to be grading the assignment, so you want to be on the same page as them. You want to make sure too that you're not too broad or too narrow in scope, or maybe you've gone off on a tangent a little bit. That can be good, but you want to make sure it fits the scope of what the professor wants. So very important, get approval of your topic from your professor, because there's nothing worse than doing a bunch of research and then finding out that you have to go back and redo it because you are not on the same page as your professor. Also, you want to identify proper resources. And what I do, the first thing is I look to see what the professor wants. What are the basic minimums that the professor wants? I mean, I always want to go beyond them, but I want to make sure I satisfy them at least. Do they want 2 books or at least 3 journal articles or only 2 websites? So get those parameters set up and identify those resources. You also want to identify proper resources, as in finding such things as books. Books give you in-depth information on your topic, so find some books that tie into your topic. Periodicals or magazines, journals, and newspaper articles, and this will give you more recent information. It'll also give you more in-depth information on your topic too. And then finally, internet websites are great. They give you additional information on your topic, but of course you want to be critical about the websites that you come across. You want to make sure you use good websites. But identify proper resources, very important. And then academic journals. You guys are in college now, and professors are going to want academic journals. And what are these things? These are also called scholarly or peer-reviewed journals, and they are written by experts or academics for other academics and experts. And so they're higher level. A lot of research gets published in academic journals, and no matter what your major is, there's an academic journal out there for you. So you want to make sure you get some academic journals, and in the topics that you're studying, you'll find lots of academic journal articles that are good. Just be aware they might be written at a higher level. Don't be intimidated by that, okay? You can find some really good stuff in these articles, and some of them, or many of them actually, are written at a level that we can read as normal human beings. So you definitely want to get academic journals for your papers. And then diversify your resources. Mix it up a little bit, okay? Throw some books in there. Throw some magazine articles. Throw some journal articles. Get some good websites, okay? Mix it up, but make sure you diversify. No professor wants you to get 3 websites and write a paper on that. So make sure you diversify your resources. And then next, I want to talk about internet resources in general. First thing you want to do is you want to be evaluating websites. And we use the CRAP test, which is currency, reliability, authority, and purpose. Okay, check for the currency of the website. Is it, is the information current? Is it important that you do have current information, or are you looking for a more historical perspective? Okay, reliability, is it from a reliable source? Authority, what makes the author of this resource an expert? Okay, is it done by an expert in the field, or is it a website done by a 4th grader for a project? So think about the authority. You might have to do some extra digging to find information on the professors or the writers or whoever's doing the information, but it's really good to do that. And then finally, purpose. What's the purpose of this information being on the internet? Is it to sell you something? Is it an informational website? Is it an educational website? All right, so think about the purpose of why that website is there. Run this through your head when you're looking at websites. And if you have any questions while looking at websites, check with your professor, check with a librarian, check with a trusted friend, just to make sure that things seem legitimate. And I want to talk about the filter bubble really quickly. The filter bubble is actually great because when you do a search in Google, things are customized for you. So if you search for something, it'll give you local results or personalized results, which is great. But when you're doing research, you want to step outside that filter bubble, because if you do research, if you do a Google search on a topic that you're looking at, it's going to give you things that they think you want to see because of your belief system, but you want to see what the other side looks like too. So I recommend to get out of the filter bubble, and the way to do this is to look at other websites, look at the other side, okay, look at websites that you normally wouldn't look at. You can use a search engine such as DuckDuckGo, which is available at duckduckgo.com, and this does a Google search for you, but without any of the personalization, so you can get some new websites with new perspectives and things like that. So the filter bubble is something to think about, especially when you're doing research. And then finally, spot fake news. Okay, you might come across some fake news that ties into your topic. So this is kind of like the CRAP test for a website, but think about such things as consider the source. Read beyond. You've read an article, find other articles, okay? Get the whole story about it. Check the author. Again, is the author credible? Are they real? Are they a Russian bot? Okay, so think about that. Are there supporting sources in the story? Do they give some additional information about where they got their sources? Okay, and it's really good to kind of check those out. Check the date, again, currency. Is it current? Is it some old information? Check that out. This is very important. Is it a joke? Okay, there's a lot of satire out there and people will repost that as news. You definitely don't want to be using joke websites in your paper. And then check your biases. Consider your own beliefs, how they affect your judgment. Okay, it's kind of like stepping outside your skin and kind of seeing, how you are perceiving things. But check your biases. We all have them. Okay, and then ask the experts. If you're not quite sure of something, ask your professor, ask a librarian, check out a fact-checking site or something like that. So be aware of fake news and do not fall for it. Okay, so that being said, I want to now go to the library databases, which we have some library databases on other pages in this website. And the library databases are magazines, journals, newspapers, reports, etc. They are collected by these databases and you can access them through our library. We subscribe to these. We pay money to access these. These are trusted sources. All right. So you don't have to kind of guess where they came from. They come from legitimate magazines, journals, newspapers, corporations, etc., etc. And then check out the articles tab for recommended databases and how to access them. These are databases that your professor and myself recommend for your English 2 research. And there's also videos on how to use these different websites. Okay, so we're going to be talking about that. And then brainstorm on your topic. This is very important. As you start doing your research, you've already checked with your professor, you've got the proper topic, then start brainstorming on it. Okay, you might know a little, you might know a lot about your topic. And so I write down the search terms that I know about my topic. And then as I'm doing my research, I'm keeping my brain on. I'm looking for different ideas, concepts, people, okay, as I'm doing my research. And I write those down too, or I highlight them if I print the articles out. And I might use those search terms in my search in a database or on the internet and come up with different and maybe better results. So this is an example I did on social activism via social media. And so you can see I'm kind of all over the place. Social activism, social media, online activism, social change, Facebook, Twitter, risk, Slacktivist. I didn't know what that word was until I started doing research for this. Okay, so I came up with a new search term that I did not know. Communication, ideology, Twitter revolution, Iran activist, efficient. Am I going to use all these search terms in my paper? Probably not, but you can also focus on certain aspects of your topic by looking at some of these key terms. So it's very, very important. Brainstorm on your topic and keep track of important keywords, ideas, concepts, people, etc. on your topic. And then I want to talk about the Boolean operators. So finally, this is how we talk to the databases. All right, so these are the Boolean operators that we use in the databases. Google also uses Boolean operators. Next time you do a Google search, go to Google, do a search, and then click on advanced search, and it'll give you Boolean options in there. Okay, so check that out. But these are the Boolean operators that I recommend that you use for searching the library databases. Now, there's a whole bunch of Boolean operators, but I'm giving you the big three. These are the three that I use most of the time when I'm doing research. So we're going to talk about those. Think about Boolean operators as instructions telling the database what to do. You guys have way too much information. You do a search and you can get thousands of results. These Boolean operators can help you narrow down your search and weed out the garbage and hopefully get you the good resources right away. There's also a Boolean operator OR, which I'll talk about, which helps you expand your search too. So first thing I want to do is talk about quotation marks. And quotation marks keep multiple worded search terms or certain phrases together. Okay, so when you do a search, you want to keep certain words together because they are an idea, they are a concept, they are a topic. So for example, Monterey Peninsula College. If I'm searching for Monterey Peninsula College, I'm going to put quotation marks around it because I want all my results to have only Monterey Peninsula College together in that sequence. Okay, so if I take the quotation marks off that, it'll search for Monterey Peninsula College together in that sequence. It will also search for those words separately. So I might get the word Monterey in paragraph 1, the word peninsula in paragraph 2, and the word college in paragraph 4. It has all the search terms, but it has nothing to do with Monterey Peninsula College. So this is a great way to help you narrow down your search. This works great in Google searching too. And so you also see like social media, social activism. I'm putting quotation marks around that because I want the database to search for those two search terms together. So quotation marks, a great Boolean operator. The next one I want to talk about is the Boolean operator AND. And so the AND helps you narrow down your search. It tells the database that these search terms must be in all my search results. So The more search terms you put in, the less results you're going to get, but the more focused your search is going to be. That being said, I always start off with one search term and then I build from there. And if you notice, I'm not putting questions or sentences in there. I'm just identifying those key terms. Therefore, when I'm doing my search, I can find some good resources, and then I can maybe take out one search term and plug in something else and maybe find some other really good results. So my example here is social activism. So I'm gonna do a search for social activism in a database, and it's gonna find maybe 1,000 articles that talk about social activism. But if I do social activism and Twitter, I'm telling the database I want those two search terms in all my results. So instead of 1,000 results, maybe I only get 100 results that have social activism and Twitter. So it helps you narrow it down. I always start with one search term and build from there. And I usually find what I'm looking for with 1, 2, or 3 search terms. So don't just start off putting in a bunch of search terms. Start off with one and build from there. And then the second one, social media, huge topic. I can get 10,000 articles on social media, but social media and activism, maybe I get 1,000 articles, okay? But I'm interested in the risk of social media and activism. I had that third search term and maybe I get 75 articles. So Boolean operators, there's a whole bunch more of these, but I do a lot of advanced research and I use quotation marks in the word and 99.9% of the time. There's one more I want to talk about though, and that is the Boolean operator or. And this is what you can use when you do an either or search. Okay, so if you have similar concepts, you can find results that have either or both of them together. And for my first example, I have social media or Facebook. So if I just search for social media, maybe I get 1,000 articles that talk about social media. But there are other authors that use the term Facebook instead of social media, and they've got their articles, but maybe they don't show up. So if I do social media or Facebook, I can get probably 3,000 articles because the articles can have either social media or Facebook or both of those search terms. So it helps you expand your search out a little bit. And then the second example, Facebook and online activism or social activism. All the articles are going to have Facebook in the results, and they can either have online activism or social activism. Those are two terms that talk about the same thing. Okay, so this is a great way to help you expand your search. So those are the research basics that I am recommending for English 2. If you have any questions, ask your professor or you ask a librarian. My email is on this website, and feel free to email me if you have any questions. We're here to help you out.